Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the McJeffrey 500, the podcast where I count down my 500 favorite films and make my friends watch them one movie at a time. My name is Jeff. It is February 12th, 2005, and my co-hosts today are Paul and Rob, with a special appearance by Mr. Teo. How goes it, gentlemen?
All right.
Rob,
everything's
still
great.
Angry?
Rob,
No, everything's great.
Rob's simmering a bit.
No.
We're not going to get into it, apparently.
No, everything's great.
You don't want to talk about it?
Life's good.
By the way, guys, Rob was late because he was saving my life.
Oh, tell us more.
Yeah, this is a good story. Let's hear this.
My computer died, and
My condolences.
yeah, he was picking me up a Mac Mini at the Mac store. So
This is what happened?
and I'm gonna have to try to see if I can. I did everything I could to try to save our 20,000 photos of our kids on the other thing.
Oh my God.
But it didn't work out. So.
It didn't end up in the
Oh,
cloud.
that sucks.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna try to migrate the account from the other computer if the hard drive's not too horribly damaged to do that. Because
Rob, is this totally doable?
It's possible.
It'll boot to target mode, which means it'll.
If the hard drive
look at it.
is still can be communicated with, yes, it's
Yeah,
possible.
but the permissions on it might be the thing that are damaged. It might not allow me to look at it. Anyway, that's all technical.
Well,
You
I mean-
can go to like special companies. It's really expensive.
Well, I have a
but
friend named Nate that does that kind of stuff. That I might take the drive out and
yeah,
ship
that
it
they
to
can
him.
do like actual like
Data
forensic,
recovery.
yeah, data recovery and stuff. But it's really expensive.
All right, I'm going to want to update on that, because without photos, then you just have memories and you fuck that shit.
Yeah, that's too old school.
Yeah, no. Photos are for the eyes, and the eyes are clearly the most important.
Yeah, my wife was like, "My fat little babies. I don't have any pictures of."
They're probably glad. They're probably, like, relieved.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent. All right. Well, not excellent. I hope your computer fully recovers. Rob, I'm sorry that you didn't tell us this is the reason why you were running a little late.
None of your business.
Well, you know what? Now it's
Well,
everybody's
and
business. It's
thank
on a
you-
podcast.
Thank you, Rob, for being late.
I actually wasn't late.
All right. No, he was 2 minutes early, if anything.
You know.
You weren't here for setup though.
All right. How about we just talk about what we've seen? Paul, give us a little taste of what you've been seeing lately.
Okay. As you know, I don't frequent the theaters.
That has been
but
established.
I do watch a lot of films on Netflix.
Indeed.
The first movie I saw was Chef.
Ooh, Chef.
Have you guys seen this?
The John Favreau
Yeah, I saw it in the
vehicle.
theater.
I enjoyed it. And you?
It was okay.
It's fluff.
Yeah,
It's cotton candy.
A bit.
Or actually, it's kettle corn.
Is
you
that
see
what we've
it-
established?
Yeah, if you've seen the movie, you get it. You get the joke, but it's kettle corn. It's tastes good, doesn't really stick with you.
It's.
afterwards.
I have to disagree. It stuck with me a bit.
Oh,
You didn't find
what?
it predictable?
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think it's a movie that's lives and dies by the twists and
every
turns.
once in a while, it's nice to watch a movie where it's fleeting. It just you can enjoy it and nothing bad happens. There's not really any villains in it.
I did like that aspect of it. Because I did halfway through, I was like, there's really no
Antagonist,
except
Which is good because
in
in reality, you either think the reality is that you don't really have antagonists except for you.
Oh, yeah.
You're my antagonist
That's good.
always, but in reality, everybody's a protagonist in their own movie, and we pick and choose who our particular antagonist is at any given moment. But the reality is, people probably don't really care all that much to defy you, except you.
Yeah. Well, I get. It
I will
entertains
say.
me.
I will say the ending ended up a little bit too. Ending was a little too sweet and saccharine.
That's exactly what makes the movie, though. If you were to all of a sudden, what kind of ending would you want? Like some sort of.
I don't. Sofia Vergara and John Favreau didn't have to
Get back together.
Get back
You had to have it.
That they pushed it too far.
No. You have to have that. If this movie has to follow through on its promise of being kettle corn.
No, but the dynamic of a divorced couple that still really cares about each other, sometimes that's like real life. That happens. That's my parents, essentially.
But did you find it believable?
At the
Her
end?
being with him? Like,
There's nothing believable about it. That's okay. We're going to see a movie about a guy who works as a chef at a super fancy restaurant who quits it because he doesn't get to cook what he wants, while there's people who can't get a job to save their lives, working at McDonald's. So it's not believable, and it's not anything you can identify with, really. But it's a movie. It's kettle corn. So just fucking eat it and enjoy it, and stop complaining about it.
Is this one of Jon Favreau's passion projects or something?
Yeah, that's why.
So it's like something he thinks.
Exactly.
If I had, what would I really do right now with my gajillions of dollars if I could just go do it? I know I'd buy a truck and sell food out of it.
Yeah.
To the peons of the world.
I will admit, after I left the movie, I did have a hankering for a Cuban sandwich and sought one
Cubano.
out.
Did you? Well, how was it?
I ended up going to Sterling Bridges, which is an Irish pub.
That's where I had my Cubano sandwich for the.
That was all right.
Yeah, it was okay.
So you guys had a Cubano sandwich at a place that's billing itself as a
English
place.
In America, right?
In America,
yeah.
In Carmichael.
Yeah. Of all places.
You're gonna tell me where I can get a Cubano sandwich that's only a mile away from my house? Please let me know, and I will.
Well, I approve of that place because Brother Oliver's used to be there when I was a kid, and whenever I drive past there as a kid, I'd be like, that place looks like it should be in Dungeons and Dragons.
I once picked up my mom drunk from Brother Oliver's. It was her and her drunk friend.
Are you sure your mom wants to eat?
No,
She
doesn't listen to these. So I picked her up. She was very embarrassed because I really haven't ever seen her really just stupid drunk. But her friend proceeded to throw up and pee on my car.
Oh. That's a really good story.
And I think it's to this day the only time my mom apologized profusely to me ever.
Which was worse, the vomit or the urine?
So do you hold it over her all the time?
No, I actually didn't even think about it until just now. Memories. So what else?
Aside from Chef, what else you see?
What else you see, Meg?
Oh, I want to know which was worse, the vomit or the urine. Actually,
The urine lingered longer.
Yeah, that's what I would have figured.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the vomit was essentially alcohol.
Yeah, just water.
It was watery, but it was all unfortunate is what it was.
Well, the whole thing sounds sterile, though. Alcohol, urine.
Yeah, technically, yeah. And if the urine wasn't sterile, then alcohol cleans it. So
yeah,
you're all good, man.
Good times.
Okay, so my other
there.
movie, I saw a movie called Wetlands. It's a German film.
Yes, I've heard of this film.
It's the one with the girl that's like...
Yes.
Yeah, like Peach.
Yes.
Or is that F.U.?
Actually, she's doing this.
Oh, it's
because exactly. It's rare that a movie nowadays can I don't want to say shock me, but it kind of shocked me. Did
you reel?
What?
Did you reel?
No, I did not reel, but I was a bit stunned at parts. I enjoyed it a lot. Not just for the shock value, but I like the fact that a lot of European movies, they tend to view life and sexuality and the things we do in a they just put it out there, and they let you judge. And it's shocking and offensive at times, but it's the reality of what people actually do in their free time.
Okay.
A lot of American movies shy away from that sort of thing and won't show you, a girl in the bath, masturbating with a carrot, right? Or different types of...
I was really surprised that not one of the Transformers addressed that subject matter.
I thought they did in the
carrot's
moon one.
Yeah, well, it's kind of flipped. Here in America, we're very chaste about sexual stuff in our movies. But the Europeans are very
about violence.
Very anti-violence, so they're kind of pussies.
Which is the way it should be, right? Because violence is destructive within society and within the world, where sex, obviously there's negative aspects to it, but overall it's a good thing, good part of humanity, right? Why is it offensive to have somebody masturbate on a film?
It's not. Oh, yeah, well, all we have to do is watch Japanese movies, because they got everything covered.
But it's all fuzzy. That's bullshit. My rationale for this has always been this reason is because the violence is bad and as graphic as is still at the end of the day fake, while those titties are very much real.
Yeah, but why is the human form offensive? It shouldn't be offensive. There's nothing inherently offensive.
You're
about
preaching
it.
to the choir.
It's
here.
because of the moral standards.
We
of
talked
our
about
religious-
this. The thing is that the nudity we get or the sexual stuff we get in movies here in America it's very chauvinistic and misogynistic in that it portrays women very negatively and only as objectifies them. While in something like in a European movie, the sexuality there is usually a lot more progressive.
Can I?
Oh, yeah, you can.
I want to take
Yes.
something out of that framework, whether it's objectifying or not. Like my brother, maybe it's because we're related, but my brother and I have this thing. We don't like watching love scenes. I'd expressed it here when we watched that thing on HBO. I can't remember. It had Mark Ruffalo, and it was all about AIDS or whatnot. But I didn't.
Not there in the
you
movie.
were like, "Ooh, you don't
It's all
like
about AIDS."
You're like, you don't like the gay sex scene, and I'm like, I love the gay sex scene off screen, but it's any sex scene I don't want to see because for me, when I'm invested in a film, I'm like, that's their private time. I don't care if it's a man, a woman, a dude and his dog, any of that stuff. It's like that's their time,
right?
And
you're not necessarily.
It's not part of the story.
It.
It's not really part of the story. Now he rubs her nipple.
Right.
Then he goes down to the belly button. Unless it's Do the Right Thing. Spike Lee actually narrated the whole experience.
Kat's going to go see 50 Shades of Grey tonight.
Ooh,
and so all that explicitiveness is part of the whole reason the book and the movie exist.
Fair
right?
enough.
Right? So, I mean, there's an example. Like, not every movie has to have explicit stuff, but there are movies where that is kind of the point.
This is actually true of Wetlands. Is she's part of her story of growing up or whatever is she's very sexualized and just tries different things and experimentation. So that's actually part of the plot. So it's not necessarily like private time that you're talking about. Because you're right. In a lot of movies, it's just gratuitous. It's the point of it is to titillate the audience.
That is the main reason why that sort of stuff exists in Hollywood movies.
Well, and
that's the reason why I think it's okay to be wary of that kind of stuff here because. And I'm not saying censorship, not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that if you're going to do that stuff, make it make sense and have a reason. And it's okay to have this, the romps every once in a while, but kind of balance it out a little bit.
Well, I think, like, I was just going to bring up other private moments. Like, they don't feel compelled. Like, some people be like, but that's happening in the story right now. And I'm like, well, we've been watching a film that takes a long period of time. I'm assuming they went to the bathroom several times. And they didn't show me that.
Wetlands has a lot of bathroom scenes
Really?
too. No, I'm being totally serious.
Yeah.
That's why people find it gross. It's
I've
very
heard-
a realistic portrayal.
I've heard very, very...
It's worth watching if you're into that sort of...
It's on Amazon Prime.
No, it's on Netflix.
So for the record,
Yeah.
masturbating tubs and carrots happens in Wetlands.
Oh, yes, a lot of different forms of sex and grossness happens. Yeah, it's definitely...
Mental note made.
Yeah.
No, isn't the film about a teenager?
Yes, it's her attempt to sort of rekindle the relationship between her
And a carrot.
estranged parents. Yes.
So what? It's about her and her strange parents, but there's a lot of scenes of her masturbating.
Yes. It's that's the funny thing is that's how it's billed when you read the description on Netflix.
Yeah.
But it's more about her life, just her as a person, kind of a.
Well, because here in America, how do you sell this thing about this coming of age story with a female protagonist or female lead? Because we're all about our male leads in coming of age stories. We can't figure out how it is with women. So how do you sell it to American audiences? It's all about the sex. It's all about the raunchiness of it.
And if you're offended by men masturbating, there is a scene with men actually masturbating and ejaculating.
Like full frontal?
Yes, full everything.
It is
You
Europe.
see them.
How's their technique?
Ejaculate.
Where they go?
Well, it's a group of four all at once.
A circle jerk?
Yeah, it's it's something. But then that's the thing.
That's on Instant Watch, right?
It is on Instant Watch on Netflix.
Mr. Teo here probably have to leave here soon, so you better ask him what he saw.
Hey, Teo, have you seen any movies worth noting in the last, say, 7 days or so?
Oh, 7 days. That's short.
Or what's the last thing you saw of note? Go, please speak.
Well, I was going to shoot out 5 real quick and then, like, all over the place and then leave. First, Rhymes for Young Ghouls. I saw it a long time ago. I think I forced Rob to watch it. maybe 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Maybe before that, I don't know. And then, which is a Canadian film about the residential boarding schools for Indigenous people, and it's about more than that.
No masturbation there, though?
No, there's other stuff, but I really like that they mix a lot of genres American films don't. In that film, I also saw The Retrieval, which is an American film kind of filmed in a Western style about two slaves that are trying to track down another guy for a bounty hunter that presumably he owns them. I can't. And that's a really good film. It's really quiet. I would compare it to The Proposition. It's really a slow burn. Lots of the use of the... I'm just going to say it. I know white people aren't allowed to. Nigga. They say nigga.
Oh, actually, now you're going to have to censor this one, Jeff.
That's the title of the podcast.
There was no hard R, man.
Yeah.
No hard R. It's cool. You can leave it.
Yeah.
Right?
And then I also saw an Australian film about an Aboriginal detective that kind of felt... They say it's a kind of like No Country for Old Men, but I felt it was more like True Detective without the creepy cosmic stuff. That's called Mystery Road, and that was quite good. And I also saw recently an African film called The Forgotten Kingdom, which is a tearjerker, actually.
Not the Forbidden, not the Jackie Chan movie. Forgotten, not the Forbidden.
Yeah, Forgotten.
Okay, Forgotten.
Yeah, and it's about a kid in Johannesburg that moved there from Lesotho, I think is what it's called, when he was a kid, because his dad wanted to make money after his mom died. He kind of has a whole abandonment issue with his dad. His dad passed away. He has to go back and bury him. That introduces him to that community again, and he kind of hates it, but then he finds out why it's beautiful, and it shows a lot of really cool scenes that remind me of Lord of the Rings. There's a thing where he meets this little kid, and that little kid is like this wacky, like wizard type dude, and it's like he says weird superstitious stuff all the time and whatever. And this guy is like from the city, so he didn't believe any of it. But they're riding horses through the hillside, helping people out, and it's like a total like for like a good. And again, it's one of these things where since it's not an American film, they have these tonal mixtures that occur. Because at first it's all about nightclubs and him hanging out with his buddies at bars, but then it switches and there's like no technology. It's just them in cloaks riding horseback, righting wrongs in the wilderness, like finding an old lady that her roof is burned. They thatch it up again, and then they do say, "I'm telling you the whole damn movie."
Yeah, you're like a trailer.
Yeah.
Those sound like classy films, unlike the trash that Paul's been watching.
Was this in the theater or?
It was also all of these films are Netflix, cool. And then I have to drop Obvious Child. Rob made me watch that, and that's on Amazon Prime. Okay. That film was great.
I enjoy them.
I loved rubbing it. My friend who recently said women aren't funny, I loved rubbing it in his face that there's 5 writers on that, and 5 out of 5 of them are women. Yeah.
But very good.
I do need to exit. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you,
for having me on your podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rob, for saving my life. Yeah. Thank you all for enduring me.
Thank you, Teo.
Take it easy.
Rob, real quick, do you want to speak on what you saw?
I just came from a movie. It's called Still Alice.
I saw it as well.
Which is a pretty devastating story of a Harvard teacher who gets early onset Alzheimer's.
Yeah, she's 50, and
right, and
it's
very straightforward in the way that it presents it. It tries not to be sentimental about it. And there's points in the movie where it nearly wrecked me.
Does that make it more effective because it's not sentimental?
Oh yeah, it takes all the it's not melodramatic. It's I don't mean to talk over you, Rob, because I enjoyed the movie, and it. There's a certain scene where she's going crazy because she lost her phone, and they cut to another scene where Alec Baldwin, who plays the husband, Julian Moore's the star. And he says, "Hey, look what I found." And it's like, "Oh, my phone! I was looking for that yesterday." And he tells the daughter, "It's been missing for a month." So you don't realize, because now you think like, "Oh, because it was just one scene to another, that, so found a day later, but, she still thinks it's like the next day that she lost it. So I actually found that kind of jarring.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the thing is with Alzheimer's, it's...
Have you ever dealt with it? Have you ever had like a family member with it? Because I have.
No.
It sucks.
No, yeah. And that's the thing about that particular disease. Like, I mean, any disease really feels like there's like a almost malicious actor behind some of these diseases. Like, obviously you can say cancer is evil or whatever.
Sure.
But there's an insidiousness to Alzheimer's that goes kind of even beyond something like cancer, because not only does it end your future, it also destroys your past.
Yes.
So it's like, not only am I going to kill you, but I'm going to take away everything that made you, made you who you are up until this point. So I'm going to completely erase you from existence.
That's fucking terrible.
Yeah, so there's a level to it that goes beyond like those other diseases that are, pretty devastating as well.
Like, just a quick aside, my grandfather had Alzheimer's. And it got so bad at a point when we visited him. Forget they even didn't recognize any of us. He started just straight up hitting on my sister. Like, in lewd, disgusting fashions. Like, with the licking of the lips and shit.
Oh, God.
And I hate that this is one of the last memories I have of this guy who was, in World War II. He was a hero, parachutist. And just to watch him just essentially just evaporate as the person I knew. It sucks. And the movie kind of brings that back. There's another side note, another movie called Away From Her. It was directed by Sarah Polley with Julia Christie from McCabe and Miss Miller. Mm-hmm. She plays a...
terrible movie.
You saw it?
No, McCabe and Miss Miller.
There's also the movie Michael Haneke did called Amour, which...
I wanted to watch that for a while.
People say is like the most... devastating of these kinds of movies
because you watch it from these two people who've been together. This guy was married to her for his entire life. It's the only life he's known, and you watch it from the person's point of view who doesn't have the disease, and it's as devastating.
Isn't this just the plot of The Notebook? This is what you guys are watching?
I don't know. I've never seen The Notebook.
No, I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
I can't speak.
The joke doesn't work very well when no one knows what The Notebook is.
You saw The Notebook, though?
No, I've never seen it. I know the plot. It's like he reads his life story to her every single day, and then at the end she goes, "It was us." All along. Like, yeah, it's, it's
and then she pees and poos herself. Okay. Hey, let's talk about what we're about to see. We are kind of running over right now.
Oh my God.
You ready, Paul, for this?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Released in...
Oh, God. Here we go.
1938.
Oh, my God. Oh, no. This is better. This is, honestly, I'm more excited because keep me out of the 70s and I'll be happy.
Traveling aboard a transcontinental train, young Iris Henderson becomes alarmed when an acquaintance, elderly governess Miss Froy, suddenly vanishes.
Murder on the Orient Express.
No. Inexplicably, all the other passengers deny having seen the woman. So Iris turns to her lone ally, handsome music scholar Gilbert Redman, for help. As the two search for clues to Foy's disappearance, they uncloak a sinister plot. We are going to watch...
Snowpiercer.
No! The Lady Vanishes. One of Alfred Hitchcock's earliest films. And I got treats.
What are they, sir? Oh, no.
Kat will be present.
Did Kat cook this, or did you cook this, Chef? Because if you cooked it, I'm not eating it.
We are having... cheese and crackers.
Oh, I like cheese and crackers.
And... pickles.
Oh, I like pickles. Oh, this is good. Right. This is very good.
Wow. And we will be right back.
Where is she?
There has been no English lady here.
What?
There has been no English lady here.
But it's ridiculous. She took me to the dining car and came back here with me.
Who went? He came back alone.
I know there's a Miss Roy. She's as real as you are.
That's what you say, and you believe it, but there doesn't appear to be anybody else who's seen her.
I saw her, I think. That isn't Miss Roy. Stop the train! Listen, everybody, there's a woman on this train, Miss Roy. Some of you must have seen her. They're hiding her somewhere. Do you hear? Why don't you do something before it's too late?
Please, please.
I know you think I'm crazy, but I'm not. I'm not. For heaven's sake, stop this train!
No, come.
Leave me alone! Leave me alone!
And we have returned. We have finished the Alfred Hitchcock classic. The Lady
Classic, is that what we're calling it?
It is a classic. It is considered, along with 39 Steps, is probably his most acclaimed British film. So he went through. I mean, he's been making films since actually the 20s. He made a few silent films. They made British films. He made The Secret Agent, 39 Steps. Lady Vanishes. Now, Lady Vanishes actually ended up being, at the time, the most highly successful British film at that date. A couple of films later, then he would move on to America, and he would make Rebecca. And America, where he made, stuff like, the American version of The Man Who Knew Too Much. There is a British version, so he made the American version. North by Northwest, of course, and so on and so forth. We will be getting to a lot more Hitchcock films as this list progresses. So let's just before we get into opinions, the plot basically is the movie starts with we get to meet the central characters for the most part because there's an avalanche, so everyone has to stay at this inn. So we meet our two main protagonists, the young lady, Iris, played by Margaret Lockwood, and we have Gilbert, played by young Michael Redgrave, who's a musician and enjoys playing the what would be the instrument he plays? Is that a
clarinet?
Clarinet. Thank you. I was thinking flute. I was thinking oboe. I was wrong on both. And so they have their meet cute. We also meet a pair of fellows who
comic relief.
Basically the comic relief. Anyway, cuts to the next day. They're on a train. The young lady meets up with this old lady, kindly old lady, and they form a brief but mutual bond. She falls asleep. Old lady's missing. Nobody claims to have ever seen her. And this is where the mystery begins. So she's on a train trying to find this old lady who has vanished, hence the title. And everyone who she knows has seen her says otherwise. So is there a conspiracy at foot, or is she hallucinating? And that's when the movie, basically, that's how it unfolds, and we find our answers in due time.
Way to spoil it for everybody.
I said there'd be answers. I didn't, tell
Do
you.
you think that synopsis, the way that you presented it, would anybody out there want to watch the movie?
You can look at it in the sense, is this a movie about a young lady who is hallucinating? Which we kind of assume not, because we established this character early in the inn the day before. But it definitely has questions to why is everybody suddenly very, all of a sudden forgetful or pretending not to know what she's talking about. Where is this coming from? Why is this happening?
Sounds like that movie Gaslamp.
I never saw Gaslamp. But it is actually interesting. Hitchcock actually spoke to Truffaut about this film because this is actually Francois Truffaut's favorite Hitchcock film. Go figure. And Hitchcock gave the antidote. Oh, it's not antidote. Antidote. That Anecdote. Thank you. I knew there was a syllable in there I was missing.
The most important one.
So the story itself is actually very loosely based on this kind of urban legend of this Indian mother and daughter who went to the Paris Exposition in 1889 when they unveiled basically the Eiffel Tower. And the mother got really, really sick, and the daughter was sent out to get medicine. She comes back, and the mother's gone. Nobody speaks of her, knows what she's talking about. Completely just, keep her in the dark. Like she's completely lost her mind, like her mother never existed. What I guess is determined later is that her mother was diagnosed with the bubonic plague. And they were afraid if the word got out that her mom had the bubonic plague, that, people would not go to the exposition and enjoy their tower. So that's the Hitchcock story of the nugget that comes and begats the Lady Vanishes. So, fun facts. Anyway, Paul, impressions on the movie that you just watched.
I felt like your bubonic plague story was better than the movie I watched. Like, far more interesting.
Well, it's not my bubonic plague story.
Oh, well, if that's the real story behind it, Hitchcock should have stuck to that, because that was actually far more interesting.
Well, no one would care about that movie because the leads would be Indian.
Well, maybe you could whiteify it, I think, a little bit, couldn't you?
It's called whitewashing.
Oh, whitewashing, not whiteify?
No, that's the name of the podcast this week.
Yeah, like, honestly, I'm not going to go and say it was a bad movie, but I think what this podcast is going to turn into is us debating the merits of older movies. And I think, obviously, I have no nostalgia for this.
Sure.
I don't have any sort of... yeah, I guess nostalgia is the best word for it.
You have no history with this film.
Yes, exactly. So, while, like I said at the very beginning, I really like the music and the scenery of the intro. I actually found the first 20 minutes where it's kind of not even part of the other
It's basically
plot.
introduction.
Yeah, I liked the intro a lot. And then once they got into the mystery, it just...
They lost
It
you.
was too cliche, and I understand that at the time it was probably a revolutionary movie, but
Innovative.
yeah, innovative is probably a better word. But I even turned to Rob at certain key points in the film and said, "Oh, that's coming back, and it was so everything was telegraphed, and I felt like honestly the mystery wasn't very intriguing.
It really is, and I will admit as much that the mystery is still kind of vague what's going on here.
Well, are we spoiling? Is this part of the podcast?
This is a movie that came out in the 1937. I don't
She's a
think.
spy.
Well, they were supposed to... Yeah, she's a spy.
She's
Is what
essentially
it
a
comes down
spy, and she... So, at one point when she's at the inn before they leave for the train, she's listening to this guy sing this tune, which we think is just some, homeless hobo peddler with a guitar. But he gets killed, and we never really know why until we put the pieces together near the end. But we learned that the tune he was singing is some code for English intelligence to decipher. I assume this is events that lead to the next World War, but they never really kind of get into that, really.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the movie. I liked the parts I was waiting for.
All right, to be
That's a
fair,
ringing endorsement.
we did start much later than we generally do, and
Well, I think it speaks to the fact that you guys are right that there's that part in the movie, that middle part in the movie where it's the mystery and the is she or is she not on the train type of thing. That's the point where I kind of fell asleep. I don't know. I think I only slept for like a minute.
I think I looked
Maybe
over
2
multiple
minutes.
times. I think he was asleep for at least 10 to 15 minutes.
No way!
Yes.
The movie's not that long.
Yes.
he was resting his eyes.
No. So tell me what did I miss? What did I miss? Tell me.
You woke
You
up.
missed the sex scene
Yeah, you missed the graphic sex scene.
That-
There's a masturbation scene in
with
there.
a carrot.
Yes. This
So-
was a precursor to Wetlands, actually.
Yeah, right.
The unofficial, Wetlands is the unofficial sequel to The Lady Vanishes, obviously.
But I kind of feel like maybe the reason this isn't just top movies of all time is because you two, as film aficionados, I would call you film snobs, tend to like things not based on their merits per se, but more based on the history behind them. Because you're sort of historians of film.
I will politely disagree.
If this movie came out right now and you saw it, you'd say, ugh.
This movie did come out right now.
Movie.
It's called Grand Budapest Hotel.
Actually,
and I enjoyed the fuck out of that movie. And there's elements to this movie that I can see where Wes Anderson got his influence from the models used throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. That Jeff didn't even know they were models until he saw high definition.
I saw a really, really bad version of this. We just watched the Criterion. It's so crisp and clear, and it's clearly.
And so you got the Grand Budapest Hotel also doing that whole aesthetic of using models and things of that nature for things like the action sequence.
It was a little bit more blatant in Budapest.
Sure. That's because that's Wes Anderson really laying it on thick.
But don't you feel...
And then the last 15 minutes of the movie where it turns into this crazy action film.
Uninteresting.
That's uninteresting. I was super entertained by it.
That's what's funny.
Super entertained by it. I was super entertained by the comic relief characters all of a sudden becoming super proficient at firearms.
Charters and Caldecott.
And these guys are taking out the army.
And they're just annoyed because they're missing their fucking cricket game.
Right. And,
that's the thing, is this movie works better as a comedy. And I enjoyed the comic aspects of it more than I did.
I think that this is Hitchcock. This is Hitchcock doing the juggling act of tones, differentiating tones, which is not something common now in American films. And this is not an American film; it was a British film, and that's what he was doing. Like throughout the whole movie, he was juggling the different screwball comedy elements.
Problem with that.
Mystery.
I like that.
That's right.
The change in tone.
So the fact that you're saying that you didn't like the last 15 minutes. Then you're watching movies wrong, bro.
The mystery was not that interesting.
Because I don't think the mystery even mattered that much.
The mystery was the MacGuffin.
The mystery didn't even matter that much.
The song is the MacGuffin.
I mean, if you watch the movie, the
lady would be the MacGuffin. It's the thing
they're
searching for.
The stylistic flourishes with the camera. I'm thinking
you're liking this movie not based on story or
concept. No.
You like it based on
technique.
Technique more than concept.
What's wrong with that?
Then you're watching movies wrong.
I don't think so.
Movies are about stories.
No.
Yeah, they are. It's a way to convey a
story.
story.
So in the case of this movie, this is a case where Hitchcock got the skeleton of a story and used it to facilitate what he wanted to do, which is do these really interesting camera moves, work with these models, do this action sequence at the end where I'm thinking to myself, this is probably like right now I'm watching it and I'm into it, and it's decades later.
Exactly, you appreciate it.
No. I appreciate it at the moment. I feel like it's actually better than some action sequences that I see in modern movies now.
Of course, all you watch is Marvel movies.
We're not even going there, but. I was impressed by the fact that I was into that action sequence.
I never said it was a bad movie, but what I'm saying, if you were to hold it to today's standards, you would say it's a meh. You would say
it's got too much personality for me to say it's a meh.
No.
Sorry.
It's
Are you calling it a meh?
It's up to you.
I'm saying it's a meh.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't say it's a meh.
It's not a bad movie by any stretch, but I doubt you will remember it, is what I'm trying to say.
I think I will.
It is considered one of the greatest British films of all time.
That's a ridiculous statement. Jack.
Well, you just ask, film snobs, critics, what have you. Generally, they make, these lists, these sight and sounds lists.
Listen, there's a reason why these movies endure. Mm-hmm. It's not all based on because everybody else likes the movie.
Yeah,
there's a reason why.
Some of it is.
Maybe for some people, but when you see the movies and you get the reaction that you do, I mean, like I said, I don't know. You just don't watch movies the same way that some other people do, and it's okay. But
Kat didn't make it through it.
Hi, Kat.
Kat's doing her thing. She's going to go see that movie tonight.
You want to speak on how excited you are to see 50 Shades of Grey? Yes.
I am super excited. Look, I'm 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, look at that. She's wearing gray. I don't see... There's a few shades.
I got from, the
What
light to the dark.
That's very nice. What if you end up sitting next to someone who starts taking their pants down and start masturbating to the film? Because I'm thinking of doing that.
Privacy.
Jesus.
No?
Jesus.
I'll try to give him privacy, but, I pay.
There's not going to be any guys there tonight.
Yeah, I think it is all women.
There's
Really?
going to be guys there tonight.
No, I don't know.
Is there... Have you read... Is there actual male frontal nudity in this film?
No,
Of
there's
course not. It's an
No.
American film.
Yeah,
There's no way.
from what I've told, they've really toned it down.
But
There's an infamous tampon scene which people were super excited about. That apparently
What
never
happens?
made it.
Who gets excited?
I don't know. I haven't seen. I haven't
Paul's
really-
intrigued suddenly.
Ask Kat.
No, because there's a really good tampon scene in Wetlands.
Oh, okay. You
Collect
can ask
them
Kat
all.
because she actually read or listened to
Yeah,
it.
tell us what the tampon scene is.
Well, the tampon scene is she has a tampon, he takes it out, and.
And
That's shocking? Are you serious?
that's what Paul does every other night.
That's shocking? Like, this is what's titillating to the modern American reader?
It is.
This is frightening that we're so... sex is such a taboo subject in our culture that things like that is, like, so offensive and ridiculous. Like, oh, how could they possibly do a scene where a man takes a woman's tampon out? Oh, my God.
Okay.
Well, let's not go off the train tracks, as it
So
were.
to speak. Just a couple notes. This movie was actually remade in 1979.
With Sybil Shepherd,
With
right?
Sybil Shepherd.
Was it better?
Based on every opinion I've read about it, no.
Sorry.
At best, it was a passable remake, but everyone basically said it's very much a
There was a
knockoff or an inferior version.
Wasn't there another version that came out a couple
There was a
years ago?
BBC version.
Yeah.
I
as
bet
well.
that one's pretty good.
The one with Sybil Shepherd actually had Angela Lansbury playing the old lady, which Miss Foy, and
Was this before? This would be before.
this is before Murder, She Wrote,
Yeah,
79.
Yeah,
And Elliot Gould played Gilbert. And, that piece of walking sex. There was a time when Elliot Gould was like the most bankable star in America. There was a short time there.
I don't even know who that is.
Elliot Gould?
Yeah,
The Long Goodbye.
no idea.
He's a hairy piece of sex. And
He was in MASH, I think, too.
he is in MASH.
Who do you play at MASH? Maybe I'll know.
He played a doctor.
He played the character that Ellen Alda played in the TV show.
Ellen Alda.
Ellen Alda.
Alan Alda.
Alan Alda. And then eventually, the kid's window was very short because then Burt Reynolds, I think, became the marquee star shortly
Yeah,
after him.
I know Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. There was like a weird time. Like Ryan O'Neal was like the biggest thing for a while. And then they eventually went into the 80s and then big action stars took over. So go figure. What else was I going to say? Vivian Lee was actually tested for the role that went to Margaret Lockwood. So I'm trying to think of timeline. So Gone with the Wind would have been
That was a year later. That's
a year
39.
later. That probably worked out for her. As far as the characters, the comedy relief, as you will, Charters and Caldecott, these characters, this is their first appearance, but would go on to be in about 10 other films where they had more prominent roles. They actually were in a movie called...
So these are not Hitchcock movies. They're just...
No, there's like just spin-offs because these characters were so popular
Wow.
that they actually
that's
got...
shocking.
They were actually kind of been...
I enjoyed their...
I don't think that... Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed their banter, but was it that good?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Their
God.
next one would be Night Train to Budapest.
Your blinders.
Margaret...
Night Train to Budapest. I tell you right
Which is
now,
actually on Criterion.
Wes
so they were the
Anderson...
first Farley and Spade. That's what it comes down to.
That was Tommy Boy. Tommy Boy was good. The second one's Black Sheep. Not as good. And I don't think there was a third one because...
I have a question for you.
Go for it.
Now,
I don't know if I have an answer, but I'll...
looking back now and discovering, Hitchcock's strange obsession with his female stars after, Tippi Hedren and her tell-it-all, whatever she did.
I'm not aware of this, but okay.
Well, apparently Hitchcock was obsessed with her, and he would...
Well, I'm obsessed with Janet Leigh as well.
Right.
Okay.
And Tippi Hedren mentioned that he pretty much tortured her on the birds and all that kind of stuff.
The Birds, great movie.
Yeah,
Love that movie.
Yeah, it's really
Psycho,
good.
great movie. Love that movie. Rear Window, really love
These,
that movie.
these may be movies that will show up
Why
at some
do
point.
these movies hold up so well and this movie does not?
That's because you don't like it. That's why
You don't hold
like
up, Paul. You
it.
don't
Yeah,
hold
you
up.
don't like it. Doesn't mean it doesn't hold up.
It doesn't hold up. You guys are just...
There's a quality about this movie that I really enjoyed. The twee factor is very much in effect, and that's what I'm talking about when I say it's got personality.
So I think you're pretending this is a Wes Anderson movie. That's what it comes down to.
I don't think I have to pretend. I think Wes Anderson, this kind of movie is like in his DNA. And so with the Grand Budapest Hotel, he pretty much gave in and said, I'm gonna make my Lady Vanishes movie.
For the record, Paul, did you see Grand Budapest? I know you're not a Wes Anderson
I
fan.
saw the first 10 minutes.
And then what
15
happened?
minutes. The wife didn't want to watch it. I actually sort of enjoyed those first 10 or 15 minutes, so
It's a good
I
film.
might go back and watch it.
I
later.
own it. I can lend it to you.
Okay. Maybe I'll
Congratulations on owning it.
I know, right? Well, I had to make my mom watch it because we're watching all the Oscar noms. So that was on the list. We're down to Selma and Boyhood, and then we'll be done. I still haven't seen Imitation Game, which you apparently did not enjoy.
Man.
So I have. So it's
Bah.
it's what Lady Vanishes DePaul Imitation Game is to you.
So, but you didn't answer my question about you. So you
What's
watch
my-
these movies about Hitchcock's sort of
Sure.
strange obsession with his female stars, and then you watch these movies, and the female characters are constantly put into
Harm's Way.
jeopardy and all kinds of different
They're
things.
also treated like they're really dumb.
Yeah, how does that affect you as a viewer as you're watching the film?
I tend to.
Now I can't get it out of the back of my head now.
Oh, well, I wasn't really in the back of my head until you brought it up. But I mean, ultimately, I usually am dismissive to a point about these are movies of their time where you probably wrongfully presume that women were, needed a man to help them out when they're in a quagmire, so to speak. Iris in this movie ultimately couldn't solve her puzzle without the help of the daring do of one Gilbert, the musician. But I accept it because that's basically, and it's not. I don't think it's exclusive to Hitchcock. I think it's just a lot of movies of that time. It's just how it is, and sometimes it's strikingly just come on, no. But when you see the other way around, on a rare occasion, like I remember there's a movie called Mildred Pierce. I don't know if you guys have seen it, where the female is exceptionally self-reliant. It's played by Joan Crawford, and it seems like a weird aberration in comparison to everything that came before and after it around that time. And it's kind of stuck out, and it's a movie that will probably show up eventually. But like I said, I think it's just, for me, it's, I just accept it because that's how the movies were.
Just accept it.
I don't
rock the boat.
Well, what am I going to do? Do I like the movie less? Would I have liked it? The man be essentially.
It's not about liking something less.
Well, I mean,
more, but thinking critically about it as you're watching. Like, why was this choice made? Why, in this particular instance, she has to faint like every 3 minutes?
Don't you want to just let go, though?
What do you mean?
And go with the story?
You can do that.
Why do you need to
Don't you
critique
have
something?
the ability to do those things at the same time as
I
you're
find
watching?
that it takes me out of the movie. Like, that's something I'd want to think about later.
And that's what we're doing.
Right. But you're saying during the middle of the movie, it's
Is
constantly
it something
in your
that
head.
occurred to you?
Something that you think about. It doesn't have to cause you to get out of the movie.
But that's why I don't read any movie blogs or anything, because I don't want to know about the stars. I don't want to know about what they're doing.
Those of
I
us
wanna
who
know
are
why
really
they wrote
into
it.
movies, who are really into that kind of stuff, we want to know as much about stuff.
But why? What does it
The
change?
same reason why you want to read about video games and how they're made and the makers, or music. How you want.
I don't really care about any of that stuff. To
Oh,
be honest.
right.
No, I'm serious. I really don't.
That's how come you know
No.
all the news about certain things.
I know news about it, but I don't want to know the background or the detail. Like, if I was to meet somebody that made something I really liked, I honestly would not want to meet that person. Because all that could possibly do is detract from it.
Fear. Your life is dictated by fear.
It's not fear as much. Like,
Paul,
what if
You are a scared person.
Exactly. I don't do anything in my life. I just sit around.
Paul, you would be the type. Correct me if you're wrong.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I mean cheese.
Oh, this is bad. You said no snacking.
I know. I'm bad. I took the snacks from you.
Yeah. So you can
Moved them
yourself.
closer to me so
Yeah.
I can have them.
What were you going to say?
So, like, somebody you admire a great deal, and you happen to be on a plane with them, you would not approach them at all, would you?
No.
No.
Primary number one is out of respect for them.
Mm-hmm.
I would, just for the sheer fact that they brought something into my life that meant so much to me, I would not want to bother them. And two, if they turned out to be a total dick, that would detract. I'm sorry, that it's like Rob's saying, it's always in the back of your mind, because it is. You can't forget that stuff when you see or hear it.
So, the fact that you already hold this person in high regard, why rock the boat?
Right. Now, it's one thing if I was seated next to them on a plane and they started talking to me.
Okay.
I would probably start talking to them. But if they
Hi,
did
Paul,
not...
you may have seen me in films such as... And they would just rattle it off.
Wow, that went nowhere.
No, I'm reminded of
Yeah,
Roy
yeah.
McClure.
All right,
Yeah,
Paul. Okay, who's someone Paul myers a great deal enjoys?
Tori Amos.
No, that's not. That's me. And I would paw her.
Whoa. She doesn't like that stuff.
She's fine with it.
Uh-huh.
She'll like it when I do it.
Like a movie director you want?
All right, like who do you just throw
Paul
in?
doesn't know movie.
Throw in
Like a movie director I like?
He's
Okay.
gonna drop Martin Scorsese.
No. I was going to say...
Scorsese would probably talk to you.
Somebody like James Gunn. Okay?
James Gunn. All right,
I
so
wouldn't want to bother him. Why would I want to bother him?
Because you
okay.
want to ask him when chimpan, what's the name of the thing? Man-pansy?
Something, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, would you even say,
Chimp?
you're on a 5-hour flight with
Yeah,
this guy? You
yeah.
would not say a word to him.
If he sits next and starts talking to me, otherwise I would respect his right
He's
to
probably
be
gonna think
silent.
you're a dick.
No.
He's not.
Do you sit there and talk to people when you like have to sit next to somebody? No. I just stay quiet.
Here's the thing. He's
That's
not the
common
kind.
courtesy.
I mean, it's one thing if it's like a Nicolas Cage. It's James Gunn. He doesn't get recognized everywhere he goes. He would probably appreciate it. If
Okay, maybe, yeah. Okay, in that situation. And because I've seen the interviews with him, I am going to assume he's probably a pretty nice guy.
Okay.
Like, so then I think it would be easy to not have his movies detracted from because, he's
Yeah.
a total dick.
Would you take a selfie with him?
No, that's too far.
What's up, James?
Yeah, no, that's too far. That's too far.
You're a director. How does this look?
Well, would you guys talk to somebody that you admired, or
I
not
think it would
admired?
depend.
I don't think I don't want to say admired. I just would
right,
you
so-
talk to someone you appreciated their work?
I would. I mean, I wouldn't.
So what's up, bro?
Would you really?
Yeah, I did it with, what's his face?
Robin Williams, maybe.
Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman?
No.
Charles Kaufman.
Yeah, the writer of Adaptation.
Yeah.
What?
No.
What lame ass Kaufman are you thinking?
Tromaville guy.
Oh, you mean Lloyd Kaufman?
Yeah, Lloyd Kaufman.
Wasn't he kind of a dick?
Oh, he was just, a smart aleck, but that's okay.
And you did talk to Stan Lee, but you went in line for that one.
Yeah.
But see, he's another guy that I wouldn't want to bother him just because. Well, one, I'm not a huge fan of his work, but also, like, he I'm sure he gets accosted all the time. It would just be really...
Who, Kaufman or Stan Lee?
Stan Lee. Like, I just,
Would you give him a nod? Would you give him a sup bro nod?
No, I wouldn't even do that. I'd just ignore him.
He'd probably think you're a dick.
Why do you think...
I
think you want to be famous, is what it comes down
No,
to.
I really don't want to be famous.
Yeah.
But I want to meet famous people, and I want to give them sup bro nods. And, feel like I'm a part of something.
It doesn't make you a dick to respect someone's privacy and not wanting to talk to other people.
How did we get into this subject?
I don't know. I said Paul's life is dictated by fear.
Yeah.
Hence his feelings towards the lady Vanishes. I guess we'll wrap it up there.
Wow.
You don't have anything else to give?
I mean, I think we covered it all. Paul enjoys the movie somewhat.
Yeah, I didn't say... It was way better than McCabe and
He
Miss
gave
Law.
it a meh, though.
Yeah, that's a solid 3-star movie.
That's 400. So you would
No,
go as far as
it's
call it
not
the 494th greatest film of all time, though.
No way.
No, but better than McKay and Miss Miller.
Oh.
better than Critters.
Oh, that's a good question. You know what? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no. Well, no, I take that back. Because my enjoyment of Critters is purely nostalgic. Although that scene where they blow up the house is so good that it almost makes the movie worth it.
If Lady Vanishes just ended with inexplicably the train blowing up and everybody dying, would you say that was a masterwork?
Would it have been the end of humanity?
The difference is that in Critters, there's a maliciousness to the way they blow up the house. After all is said and done, that's what causes the laughter.
Right, that's why it's
funny.
funny.
If the lady vanishes, the train just blows up, you're like, oh.
It would just blow up and says the end. And
that's not you don't feel like there's not like a maliciousness to it like there is with the Critters blowing up their house after the fact. Like, they could have been like, all right, we're finished here, and we're just going to get out of here now. Like, no, they do that, and they fucking laugh about it. That's the reason why it's funny.
Yeah.
That's the reason why it's funny.
And it is. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's good.
So check out Critters, everybody.
All right. No, it's like the same thing with the Lady Vanishes. I feel like the last 15 minutes of the movie really knocks it out of the park.
That's funny because I felt the first 15 minutes were the best.
All right, so that whole part in the middle, take that shit out, and then there's something for everybody.
Yeah, you could have like a half.
I think that part in the middle is needed in order to make those.
Oh, you mean the part you slept through?
5 minutes of it, yeah. That part in the middle makes those parts at the both ends all the sweeter.
All right. On that note, we will wrap things up for today. Opening theme provided by Austin Graham. To hear more, you can go to his Facebook, SoundCloud, or YouTube page by putting Austin Oz Graham. That is Austin like the city, Oz like the wizard, Graham like the cracker. Special thank you goes out to Travis the engineer, without whom you would not be hearing this. I keep on trying to think of something clever to say, but I'm just going to start saying that all the time. Mm-hmm. We will leave you today with the tune that was, apparently according to Wikipedia and IMDb, the tune that was hummed, the secret tune in this movie, the MacGuffin, if you will, which apparently is the Colonel Bogey March, which is probably best known from Bridge over the River Kwai. I'm listening to it again. I don't quite hear it, but that's what they say, so that's what we're going to leave with today. The Colonel Bogey March, as composed by Frederick Ricketts. So, for Paul, for Rob, and for myself, until next time, you stinkers, I bid you adieu.